Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. When The Bachelor promises drama, emotion, and unexpected twists, fans usually expect tears, surprise eliminations, and maybe the occasional awkward family dinner. But no one was prepared for the eerie, cinematic déjà vu that washed over the latest hometown episode, especially when fan-favorite frontrunner Ligia introduced leading man Grant Ellis to her massive family. It didn't take long before viewers across social media were lighting up X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with one very specific comparison. Get Out, Jordan Peele's chilling, critically acclaimed psychological thriller. And once you see the parallels, it's impossible to unsee them. From the setting to the atmosphere, and even Grant's slightly shell-shocked expressions, fans were convinced that this hometown date crossed the line from romantic to downright creepy. But what really happened during the now infamous visit to Wyoming? Why did it hit such a nerve with viewers? And what does this mean for Grant and Lisha's future? As Bachelor Nation knows, Hometown Week is one of the most important milestones of the season. It's the week where the stakes skyrocket. It's not just about one-on-one chemistry anymore. It's about family, culture, values, and envisioning real life beyond the cameras. Grant Ellis, the charismatic and thoughtful Bachelor lead of season 29, had already formed deep connections with several women. But Ligia had emerged as a standout, not just because of her vibrant personality and quick wit, but because of her emotional vulnerability and the unspoken ease between her and Grant. That's what made the Wyoming visit all the more critical and all the more shocking. The scene began innocently enough, a shot of snow-covered fields, a warmly lit home nestled in the woods, and Ligia beaming with excitement as she prepared to introduce Grant to her family. But as the door opened and Grant stepped inside, what awaited him was far from a cozy greeting. Viewers watched as Grant was quickly surrounded by a staggering number of Lisha's family members, all of whom are from the Mormon faith. While hometowns often involve large family gatherings, this was something else. Aunts, uncles, cousins, and more filled the room. Every chair was taken, every wall was lined, and every eye was on Grant. The moment was suffocating. Even through the screen, the pressure was palpable. Social media erupted almost instantly, and there was one comparison that dominated the conversation. The references to Get Out, Jordan Peele's 2017 psychological horror film about a black man meeting his white girlfriend's family under suspicious circumstances, came flooding in. Though the contexts are drastically different, the feeling of unease and the overwhelming presence of family sparked an instant visceral reaction. To understand the reaction, it helps to know a bit about Get Out. The film follows Chris, a young black man who travels with his white girlfriend to her family's secluded estate for a weekend visit. What starts as an awkward but seemingly harmless trip quickly spirals into something far more sinister as Chris realizes he's the target of a disturbing plot. So, why were fans getting Get Out vibes from Lisha's hometown? There are a few factors that made the comparison feel apt: overwhelming family presence. The sheer number of relatives, all seemingly united in evaluating Grant, mirrored the discomfort Chris feels when he realizes he's being watched and judged. Religious undertones. Lisha's Mormon background added another layer of tension for some viewers, particularly those unfamiliar with the faith or aware of its complex history with interracial dating and social conservatism. Grant's expressions. The camera didn't shy away from capturing Grant's somewhat startled reactions. At times, he looked like he was trying to remain polite while inwardly processing the sheer intensity of the moment. Tonal shift. The editing of the episode played a major role. The music, pacing, and camera angles leaned into a slightly surreal tone, almost as if the show was in on the joke, or at least aware of how it might play to an audience. Ligia, one of the breakout stars of the season, had previously opened up to Grant about her upbringing and the role her faith and family play in her life. She's proud of her roots and deeply connected to her community. For Grant, who has been navigating wildly different backgrounds with each hometown visit, this was a chance to understand a core part of who Licia is. But the cultural differences were stark. What was meant to be a heartfelt homecoming turned into one of the most talked about moments of the season. Still, it's worth noting that there's no indication Licia's family had any ill intent. Quite the opposite. They appeared warm, curious, and invested. But the scale and intensity of their presence was enough to spark the internet's imagination. While the memes were fast and furious, not everyone found the Get Out comparison amusing. Some viewers pointed out that drawing parallels between a Black Bachelor contestant visiting a Mormon family and a horror film that centers on racial exploitation was potentially tone-deaf. "Y'all, it's giving Get Out, but maybe we should examine why we feel that way," one user wrote. Others defended the humor, noting that the comparison was about the vibe and not the literal events. Still, it opened up a larger conversation about race, perception, and how The Bachelor portrays culturally distinct families. In many ways, this episode revealed more about Bachelor Nation's collective psyche than it did about Grant or Licia. To his credit, Grant remained composed, respectful, and even humorous throughout the date. He asked thoughtful questions, listened intently, and made a visible effort to connect with Licia's family. At one point, he joked about being slightly outnumbered in the room, which got a good laugh. But he also leaned into the gravity of the moment, acknowledging the significance of meeting so many important people in Licia's life. When speaking to the camera later, he admitted, "I wasn't expecting the room to be that full, but it says a lot about how loved Licia is. That's the kind of family I want to be a part of, one that shows up." After the date, Lydia shared that bringing Grant home was a huge step. Her family's approval matters deeply to her, and she wanted Grant to see the real her, not just the polished version from the Bachelor mansion. "This is where I come from," she said in a confessional. "If he wants to be with me, he needs to understand this is a part of the package." Whether she realizes it or not, the moment served as a compatibility test. Could Grant embrace her roots? Could he handle the overwhelming family dynamics and cultural nuances? Judging by the final moments of the episode, the answer might be yes. As we head into the final weeks of the season, the pressure on Grant and his relationships is at an all-time high. Licia remains a frontrunner, but the question looms. Was her hometown date a turning point or a turning away? Will the overwhelming vibes work in her favor, showing Grant how deep her support system is? Or will the experience plant a seed of doubt about their long-term compatibility? Fans are divided. Some see Grant and Licia as endgame. Others think the Wyoming date may have derailed their momentum. But if there's one thing this episode proved, it's that Bachelor Nation is watching, and they're not afraid to bring pop culture references into the mix. The Bachelor has always thrived on drama, romance, and the occasional viral moment. But what makes this particular episode stand out is how quickly it became a cultural flashpoint. In comparing the hometown visit to Get Out, fans didn't just spark laughter, they started a conversation about race, about religion, about perception, and about what it really means to bring someone home. Was it fair? Was it funny? Was it uncomfortable? Maybe all of the above. What's clear is that Grant and Licia's journey won't be forgotten anytime soon. Whether they end up together or not, they've given Bachelor Nation one of its most unforgettable hometown dates in recent memory. And as for Grant, we're just hoping he made it out okay.